Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt like your knees were trying to argue with you? Or maybe you've walked across the room and your hips whispered, "No more adventures today, please." Believe me, I've been there. At 78, I've had my fair share of stiff mornings and joints that sounded like they were cracking out Morse code. But here's the truth that might surprise you. I feel stronger now than I did in my late 60s. And no, I didn't win the genetic lottery. I simply discovered a few exercises that changed everything for me. Now, before you sigh and think, "Oh great, another fitness guru telling me to run marathons." Hold on. I'm not talking about anything extreme or painful. I'm talking about simple, gentle movements, things you can do in your living room with no fancy equipment and no risk of hurting yourself. In fact, these exercises didn't just help me move better. They helped me feel more confident, more independent, and less afraid of that slippery slope we sometimes associate with aging. Staying fit after 60 isn't about having six-pack abs or running 5 miles a day. It's about keeping your joints mobile, your muscles working for you, not against you, and making sure you can keep doing the things you love. Whether that's gardening, walking your dog, playing with the grandkids, or just getting out of bed without holding your breath and praying your back cooperates. So in this video, I want to share with you 5 exercises that literally saved my joints. These are the movements that helped me ditch the cane, stop relying on pain meds, and finally feel like my body wasn't breaking down faster than I could keep up. Let's start with the first one. Something so simple you might already be doing it without realizing its full power. The seated leg raise. I started doing this one during a particularly rough winter when my knees were giving me a hard time just walking from the kitchen to the living room. I was frustrated and a little scared, to be honest. The thought of losing my ability to move freely terrified me. A physical therapist friend of mine told me to try seated leg raises every morning before getting up from the couch. At first I thought, how could something so small actually help? But let me tell you, it did. You just sit in a sturdy chair, back straight, hands resting on the sides, and slowly lift one leg straight out in front of you, hold it for a few seconds, then lower it back down. Alternate legs. That's it. No sweat, no pressure, just controlled motion. What this does is strengthen your quadriceps, the muscles that support your knees, and improve circulation to the joint. After just a few weeks of doing this daily, I noticed my knees weren't cracking as much and standing up became a whole lot easier. Now, once my knees started behaving better, I turned my focus to my hips. They'd become tight and sore, especially after long walks or sitting too long. And I'll be honest, there were days I'd avoid going out just because I didn't want to deal with the aching afterward. That's when I discovered the gentle power of standing hip circles. Again, no special tools, just a chair or countertop nearby to hold onto for balance. You stand up straight, lift one leg just a little off the ground, and move it in small circles, first clockwise, then counterclockwise. It doesn't have to be big, and it shouldn't hurt. Just smooth, slow motion. Switch legs after a few circles. The first time I did it, I felt awkward. But after a couple of days, my hips loosened up like someone had oiled the hinges. I started walking further without pain, and even climbing stairs felt less like a battle. What I love about these 2 exercises, seated leg raises and standing hip circles, is how gentle and effective they are. You don't have to break a sweat, you don't need a gym, and you can do them at your own pace. And the best part? You start noticing changes. Maybe not all at once, but little victories start popping up. Like getting out of the car without groaning, or walking to the mailbox and back without needing a break. When you start to feel that improvement, it's empowering. It reminded me that no matter your age, you can still take charge of your body. You just need the right tools and a little patience. Let me share something personal. A few years ago, I had a scare. I slipped in the bathroom. I didn't break anything, thank goodness, but I did strain my knee, and that shook me up. It made me realize how fragile balance can become when we stop moving. That was my wake-up call. I wasn't ready to let aging take my independence. I wanted to keep walking freely, keep cooking my meals, keep playing with my great-grandkids on the floor, and yes, be able to get back up without someone pulling me. That fall wasn't the end of me. It was the beginning of a new chapter. One where I committed to doing what I could, every single day, to stay strong. That commitment brought me to these exercises. They didn't just strengthen my joints, they strengthened my confidence. They reminded me I still had fight in me. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. Because if you're sitting there thinking it's too late or that your body is too far gone, I want you to know it's not. You can feel stronger. You can feel more stable. You can stop the aches and stiffness from dictating your day. Start small. A few minutes, a little movement, and a mindset that says, I'm still here, and I've still got things to do. Now that we've got the legs and hips working with us again, there's another area that makes a huge difference in daily life, and that's your core. Not just for posture, but for balance, stability, and even protecting your spine. That's where the next exercise comes in. I used to think that working my core meant doing sit-ups or crunches, and just the thought of getting down on the floor made my back ache. But then I learned something. Your core isn't just about abs. It's everything in your midsection. Your lower back, sides, pelvis, all working together to keep you upright and balanced. And when those muscles are weak, every movement feels harder, and every step feels shaky. What helped me most was a simple standing exercise I call the belly brace. It's not flashy. You're not going to sweat buckets doing it. But it builds the kind of strength that makes everyday things, like getting out of bed or reaching for something on a shelf, so much easier. Here's how I do it. Stand tall with your feet shoulder-width apart. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, gently tighten your belly muscles like you're bracing for a gentle poke. Not sucking in, just engaging those muscles. Hold that brace for a few seconds while continuing to breathe normally. Then release. That's it. It's about awareness and control. And over time, I found my posture improved, my back ached less, and I could balance better on my feet. I started doing it while brushing my teeth, waiting for my coffee to brew, even during TV commercials. Little by little, my center got stronger, and that made everything else easier. But one area that used to give me the most trouble, and maybe you can relate, was my shoulders. Years of lifting kids, carrying groceries, and reaching for things overhead really wore them down. And I'll admit it, I avoided lifting anything because I was afraid of making it worse. But avoiding movement only made the stiffness worse. I knew I needed to find a gentle way to restore some strength and flexibility without pushing too hard. That's when I found shoulder circles. They may sound simple, and they are, but they're incredibly effective. I started by just standing tall, arms relaxed at my sides, and gently rolling my shoulders forward in slow, wide circles. 10 seconds forward, then 10 seconds backward. That's it. No weights, no pain, just smooth movement. At first, I felt a little popping and tightness. But after a few days, I noticed I could reach higher. I could hang a shirt in the closet without wincing. I could even carry a small bag of groceries without needing help. It felt like I had taken off a heavy coat I didn't even know I was wearing. And more than that, it gave me back my confidence. You don't realize how much independence you lose when your shoulders ache until you're afraid to open a jar or pour milk. These tiny daily struggles add up and start making you feel older than you are. But once you get that strength and range of motion back, even just a little, you feel like yourself again. The truth is, movement is medicine. And the more you move, the more your body remembers how to move. These exercises, leg raises, hip circles, belly bracing, and shoulder rolls, are like a gentle reminder to your muscles and joints that you still need them, that they still have a purpose. Now, before we move to the final exercise, let me say this: you don't need to do everything at once. You're not training for the Olympics. You're just investing in yourself, in your ability to move, to live without fear, and to keep doing the things that make life worth living. Whether that's cooking a Sunday meal, walking to the corner store, or dancing a little when no one's watching. And let me tell you, dancing still happens in my house. Not often, and not perfectly, but enough to make my heart smile. That alone is worth staying strong for. The final movement I want to talk about changed my balance more than anything else. For years, I was afraid of falling. I avoided curbs, held onto rails for dear life, and skipped stairs whenever I could. But avoiding those challenges made me weaker. What helped me fight that fear and build real stability was something called the heel-to-toe walk. It's incredibly simple but surprisingly effective. You start by standing tall, then walk forward slowly, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other, like walking on a tightrope, but on the floor. You don't need to go far, just across the room or even 10 steps at a time. If you need to, keep a hand near a wall for support at first. I did. The first few times I did it, I wobbled like I'd forgotten how to walk. But that's the point. You're retraining your brain and body to stay balanced. You're reminding yourself where your feet are, how to shift your weight, how to trust your own strength again. After a couple of weeks, I wasn't just walking more confidently. I noticed I was catching myself more quickly when I stumbled. My reaction time improved. My steps became steadier, and my fear started to fade. There's a kind of freedom that comes from feeling stable, from knowing that your body can support you. That freedom is worth working for at any age. People often say, "Well, I'm too old to start now." Let me tell you something. I didn't start doing most of these exercises until I was well into my 70s. And if I can start then, you can start now. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress. Even a few minutes a day can shift the direction your body is heading. You might not feel like it today. You might be tired, stiff, maybe even discouraged. But I promise you, once you start moving again, even just a little, something inside you will wake up. That part of you that still wants to live, to feel strong, to dance in the kitchen, to take the stairs without holding your breath. That part is still there. You don't have to do everything today. Just do one thing. One leg lift. One shoulder roll. One belly brace. One small promise to yourself that says, "I'm not done yet. Let's keep going." Now, there's one final movement I want to share with you. And honestly, it might be the most important one. Simple, but it works your whole body. And more than that, it works your spirit. I'm talking about the wall push-up. Now wait, don't click away. I know the word push-up sounds intimidating, especially if you haven't done one in decades. But this isn't the floor kind. No sore knees, no getting down and trying to get back up like you're wrestling with gravity. A wall push-up is gentle, controlled, and completely adjustable to your comfort level. Here's how I started. I'd stand about 2 feet from a wall, feet shoulder-width apart, and place my palms flat on the wall at shoulder height. Then I'd bend my elbows slowly, bringing my chest toward the wall, and push back out. That's it. Just like a regular push-up, but vertical. At first, I could barely do 5. My arms would shake, and I'd huff and puff like I just climbed a flight of stairs. But I stuck with it. And after a couple of weeks, 5 turned into 10. 10 turned into 15. And do you know what changed? My arms felt steadier when I picked things up. My chest felt stronger when I pushed open a door. And most importantly, my posture improved. Before I started, I used to hunch forward a lot. I didn't even realize it. But as my shoulders got stronger and my chest opened up, I stood taller. Literally. People began saying, "You look different. Did you lose weight?" No, I just stopped folding into myself. I started claiming the space I walk in. That alone is worth every wall push-up I've done. But something else happened too. My confidence grew. There's a power that comes from knowing your body can still do something challenging. Even something small. That you're not just aging, you're adapting. And that's what these 5 exercises are really about. They're not just movements. They're quiet rebellions against the idea that getting older means getting weaker. And I know some of you might be thinking, well, I've got arthritis, or I've had surgeries, or I've been out of shape for too long. I hear you. I've had joint pain so bad I couldn't sleep some nights. I've had days when getting out of bed felt like climbing Everest. But here's the thing. The worst thing I ever did was stop moving. And the best thing I ever did was start again. You don't need an hour a day. You don't need fancy gym equipment or a personal trainer. You just need to move gently and consistently. One day at a time. One exercise at a time. And when you do that, something amazing happens. Your body remembers how to support you. Your joints start thanking you instead of yelling at you. Your strength returns. Not like it was at 30, but in a quiet, steady way that lets you keep living your life on your terms. I'm 78. I still do these 5 exercises. Not because I'm trying to look young, but because I want to feel capable. I want to chase my grandkids, carry a bag of groceries, reach up into the cabinet without wincing, walk without worrying I'll trip. I want to keep doing the little things that make life feel normal and full and free. And let me tell you something, you can too. No matter your age, no matter how long it's been, it's never too late to reclaim a bit of your strength, your mobility, your independence. Start small. Maybe today you just try that belly brace while you're brushing your teeth. Or you do 3 wall push-ups before lunch. Or you walk heel to toe across your kitchen. That's enough. That's more than enough. Because the goal isn't perfection, the goal is progress. The kind of progress that keeps you upright, moving, living. So, let me ask you, what's one small thing you can do today to honor your body? To show it that you haven't given up on it? Pick that one thing and do it. Just once. Then do it again tomorrow. And the next day. And watch what happens. You'll notice the stiffness fading, the aches softening, the fear shrinking, and in its place you'll feel something better. Confidence, stability, maybe even joy. I'd love to hear how you're feeling. If any of these exercises sound like something you want to try, or if you've already been doing something that helps your joints, let me know in the comments. We can learn from each other, support each other. That's the beauty of this stage of life. We're not competing. We're connecting, and we're lifting each other up. So if this video helped you in any way, if it gave you even a little spark of motivation, give it a thumbs up. It really does help get this kind of information in front of others who need it. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We've got more videos coming your way, all designed to help you feel strong, independent, and vibrant at any age. And remember this, your body has carried you through so much. It deserves your care. It deserves your attention. And it still has more life in it than you think. Here's to strong legs, steady steps, and shoulders you can be proud of. Here's to movement, to progress, to hope. Here's to you. You're not done yet. You're just getting started.